Hi, I'm Jason Carnes with Fumigation Service and Supply. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about tubing, which we use for the introduction into a building or a structure or a tarp. And then what we're going to do is talk about some of the connectors that are commonly used with the tubing, okay? Let's start off with the tubing first of all. What we use normally is 3/8 inch, we call this chute line. And the reason we call it chute line is because this is what we use to shoot the gas into the fumigation. And we use 1/4 inch line, which we call monitoring line, because we use this line to monitor with. Now some people do like to use this line right here to actually introduce the gas, which is fine too. We use the chute line, what we call chute line, to introduce the gas because it allows us to have more of a volume of flow into the structure, and that's why we use that. Costs are really around the same, so we go ahead and use the larger size. What you want to do when you're using something like sulfuryl fluoride, and everything here is associated with sulfuryl fluoride for the fact that it is all rated. The tubing and the connectors are rated for sulfuryl fluoride. You start off with having a flush cut on your tubing. You would use a tube cutter such as this and slice off an even perpendicular tubing, because when this is shoved, the tubing is shoved into the device, it is going to actually have to surround itself with an O-ring, and that O-ring is going to be it's going to create the seal. And then the biters on the slide here are actually going to grip the tubing where the tubing will not be able to come out. So you just really push it in, and you have to push it past the O-ring, and then you pull on it a little bit. Do not twist it in or when you're pulling it out, okay? That is not going to do anything besides damage the tubing and the ability for this slide here to grip. So you simply just pull it out. Okay? Now some people say that it's a little hard to use push connects just for the fact that they can't get the tubing out. Well, my contention is that, and our company's contention is that we would rather it be a little bit more difficult to slide this thing in and sometimes have an inability to pull it out right when you want to, rather than having it pop out when you're introducing the gas. So we say we will take a little bit more time and use the connections as they're meant to be used, rather than having some sort of failure in a fumigation. So you would just pull, you would push and then pull, and then you would twist that onto a cylinder. Now your line, your chute line, is going to be introduced into the tarp area or introduced into the structure, and if you need a bigger piece, you would simply use a connector, and you would make sure it's on there tight. Always make sure it's on there tight, and then you would use another piece of tubing like so, and you can see that the connector, and it's very tight in there. And so what you would do at that point is, if you wanted to branch off into a couple of different areas, you could branch off and then put chute line tubing here. But this is for chute line, so you would have to use something like a reducer if you wanted to make it into 1/4 inch or chute line. And then you would simply have chute line going into monitoring line size hose. So there's that. And if you wanted to use all monitoring line, then you would just use a smaller connector, like so. Now what you can do is, if you had a situation where you were needing some sort of different type of connection, you could easily pop in a male connector, pop in a male union into a female connector, and you would have the ability to go from a female connection to a male connection with ease. So a lot of these different types of connectors can be used in many different ways. They're all push connect, and yes, they can have some inability to, I'm not having any problems with them right now, but, and they are all seated and they're pretty good, but you know, sometimes it just takes a little bit of experience to be able to connect these or unconnect them as you wish to. Okay? If you have any other questions about any of these connectors or any of the tubing that we are using, please call us at 1-800-992-1991 or visit fumigationzone.com. Thank you.